Instructor Crickle's tentacle froze mid. Gesture at the holographic display. Question, why does no recorded? Expedition to the planet designated. Earth result in survivor return. They. Auditorium held 200 cadets from 40. Species nobody moved. Statistics. Cricknell's skin shifted to lecture. Pattern blue. 129 species attempted. Contact. 3,218 expeditions across 600. Cycles survival rate 0, death rate 100%. Earth holds galactic record for a. Hand went up, human hand 5th row. Center, every head in the auditorium. Turn, chittering stopped, breathing. Pauses occurred, the human female. Mechanic division, patch on her uniform. Kept her hand raised like she was asking. About bathroom locations, Cricksoles. Skin flashed warning orange, Cadet Nix. Sir. Well, technically it's Brooklyn. But that doesn't translate right, so. Everyone just calls me Nix, she smiled. Normal human smile showing teeth, 3. Species in our immediate vicinity leaned. Away, I can answer your question about. Earth if you want, the observation. Gallery above the auditorium suddenly. Contained movement, senior staff. Multiple branches, recording equipment. Activated with soft clicks, Cricknells. Tentacles coiled tight, species specific. Fear response, you have information. About Earth expeditions, oh sure, I lived there until last cycle. Nick shrugged, left to join the academy. Because honestly, it was getting boring. Too easy, you know, silence expanded. Like vacuum breach, a Kulnix cadet. 6 rows back, dropped her data tablet. The crash echoed, too easy. Cricksoles. Skin cycled through colors without. Pattern biological system overload, you. Describe Earth as easy, well yeah, Nix. Looked around at 200 frozen faces, once you survive childhood the rest is pretty straightforward, that's why I left, wanted something more challenging than basic maintenance work. Figured military academy would, she paused, why is everyone looking at me? Like that in the gallery a senior officer began speaking rapidly into communication equipment, others pulled up data screens with shaking appendages. Crickle's translator unit struggled with the instructor's next words, biology. Interfering with speech formation, Cadet. Nix, you state you left Earth. Voluntarily. Yeah, Nivix's confusion seemed genuine. That's how leaving works, right? You pack your stuff, file the immigration paperwork, catch. Transport, took forever to get the visa. Approved but stop, Cricknell's entire body had gone pale gray, maximum stress. Coloration, you departed Earth alive. Through standard transportation. Through the commercial spaceport, yeah. Had to transfer twice to get to Academy. Sector which was annoying but the food on the second transport was actually pretty impossible, the word came from the gallery, senior xenobiologist. Dulvix leaning over the railing, all 6 eyes focused on Nivix with intensity. That made nearby cadets shift. Uncomfortably. Nix blinked up at the gallery, I have my travel documentation if you need. To verify, no species survives Earth. Dulvix descended the gallery stairs in jerky movements. Our best environmental specialist, military reconnaissance unit, scientific research teams with full bioengineering protocols, all dead. Within 3 planetary rotations. Maximum survival time 96 hours. You claim residence there for how long? Nivix counted on her fingers, like 19. Cycles, that's when I left, been alive. For 19.6 cycles total if you need. Exact, a Xynthian cadet in the front row. Made a sound like grinding metal, his breathing apparatus wheezed. 19 cycles, Dulvix reached the auditorium. Floor 19 cycles on Earth, the death. World, the forbidden zone, the planet we classify as extinction class hazard. Level, okay, first off, we don't call it a death world. Envik stood up looking mildly annoyed now. That's kind of rude. It's just Earth, my home. Normal planet. With normal stuff happening on it. Normal, Kreisnall's voice barely. Function, define normal, you know. Weather, animals, plants, oceans, the usual planetary stuff, Nix gestured. Vaguely, people living their lives. Going to work, having kids, complaining. About taxes, normal, the usual, Dulvix. Pulled up a hollow display, let me share. Expedition death analysis, first wave. All personnel deceased within hours. Cause atmospheric contamination, second. Wave enhanced biosuits, result. Systemic biological failure at cellular level, third wave full isolation. Protocols, outcome, environmental. Exposure through microscopic suit breach. Led to, oh wait, Nix's expression. Cleared, you're talking about. Visitors, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Now, every being in the auditorium stared. See, I thought you meant humans. Don't come back, which would be weird. Because obviously we do, but you're asking why other species don't survive. Visiting, Nix nodded like solving a simple puzzle, right? Yeah, that tracks. Earth's kind of intense if you didn't grow up there, kind of intense. Kreisnall's skin had gone completely white, color reserved for existential terror. I mean, you'd need serious protection to visit safely. The bacteria alone would probably. Nix stopped, seeing faces. Okay, you all look really freaked out. Is this actually that weird? Delvix's appendages trembled. Cadet, you stated you left Earth because it was too easy. Please clarify this statement. Oh. Well, Nix sat back down casual. It's just once you survive being a kid there. Everything else is kind of boring. Like, the challenge is gone, so I figured I'd try something different. Military seemed fun. In the gallery, 3 senior officers had begun emergency protocol discussions. Nix looked around the silent auditorium. Again, did I say something wrong? Dulvix moved closer. Bioscanner active. Clarify. Too easy. Provide specific examples from your childhood on Earth. Oh sure. Nix leaned back in her seat. So like when you're a kid on Earth, you learn the basics pretty young. Weather safety, animal awareness, plant identification. Standard stuff every human learns before they hit 10 cycles old. Weather safety. Krixel's translator struggled again. Yeah, you know, understanding which weather can kill you and how fast. Nivix ticked off fingers. Extreme heat. Humans can die in hours without water. Extreme cold, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Death follows. Lightning strikes during electrical storms, flash floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards. The usual environmental hazards. A cadet in row 3 began hyperventilating into their breathing apparatus. Wait, a Kulnix cadet spoke up, voice shaking. You said minutes. Your weather kills in minutes. Some of it, yeah. Blizzards are rough. You get caught outside in one without proper gear. Hypothermia sets in fast. Frostbite starts destroying tissue. Under 10 minutes, Nick shrugged. That's why kids learn cold weather protocols early. Lost a bit of my pinky toe too. Frostbite when I was 6. Learned that lesson quick. Dalvix's scanner made Alarmed sounds. Your planet's weather. Removed part of your body at age 6. And you classify this as learning. Well, yeah, how else do you learn? Nix looked genuinely confused. Same with the animals. You learn which ones hunt. Humans, which territories to avoid. How to identify predator signs. Basic survival education. Animals that hunt humans. Crixel skin. Cycled through panic colors. Predators that consider your species prey. Oh, tons of them. Bears, big cats like lions. And tigers and jaguars, wolves in packs. Crocodiles, sharks in the oceans. Venomous snakes, stop, delvixes. Appendages locked rigid. Your planet contains multiple apex predator species simultaneously in various environments. Well, yeah, that's what makes Earth interesting. Biodiversity. Nick smiled. Humans aren't even the apex predators in most ecosystems. We're just really good at adapting and surviving alongside everything else. In the observation gallery, emergency lighting activated. Senior staff huddled around tactical displays. A Xynthian cadet raised a trembling claw. Question: if these predators hunt humans, how do human children survive? We teach them. Nick said it like explaining basic math. My family used to take camping trips every summer. You pack supplies, go out into wilderness areas, set up temporary shelter, spend a few days living outdoors. Great way to practice survival skills. Camping. Dulvix's voice went flat. Define camping. Like I said, you voluntarily go into areas with wild animals far from cities and sleep outside, sometimes just in fabric tents. You practice fire building, food preparation, navigation, predator awareness, fun family activity. Dead silence. Then a Kulnik senior cadet stood up, data tablet shaking in her grip. I recognize this protocol. Survival immersion testing. Final qualification for Kulnik Special Forces. 98% failure rate. Candidates who survive earn highest military honors. She looked at Nivix with horror. You completed this at what age? First camping trip. I was like 8, maybe 9. Nix thought about it. Yeah, 8. We went to this mountain region. Spent 5 days hiking and camping. Saw bear on day 3. My dad made us back away slowly and make noise so it knew we were there. Worked great. Bear left us alone. You encountered an apex predator. The Kulnik's cadet's voice broke. At age 8 with your family for entertainment. For vacation, but yeah, Nix grinned. Good times. We roasted food over open fires, swam in the lake, identified plants. You have to know which ones are poisonous, obviously. Don't want to accidentally eat something toxic. Poisonous plants. Crystal's entire body had begun trembling. Your planet also contains flora that kills. Oh, tons. Some just make you sick, but others can kill you pretty quick. Nightshade, hemlock, oleander, certain mushrooms. Nivix counted them off. And GT. Every human kid learns to identify the dangerous ones. You do not eat random plants on Earth. That's like rule number 1 of outdoor safety. Dulvix pulled up comparative data on the holo display, cross-referencing Kulnik Special Forces. Final examination. Candidate survives 5 days in hostile wilderness containing apex predators. Vexinal elite unit. Graduation requirement. Candidate demonstrates ability to identify toxic substances in field conditions. Xynthian. Commando qualification. Candidate withstands extreme temperature variations without technological support. The xenobiologist's appendages Shook, human child performed all three simultaneously for family recreation. Wait, you guys make soldiers do that as? Like final exams, Nix looked amazed. Seriously, we do that for fun on weekends, my whole neighborhood growing up, all the kids went camping with their families regularly. Some families did it monthly. A cadet in the back row collapsed. Medical personnel rushed over. Teenager activities, Christnall. Force the words out. You mentioned teenagers. What do human adolescents do? Oh man, teenagers take it way further. Nix laughed. Rock climbing, whitewater rafting, skiing down mountains, diving with sharks, jumping out of aircraft with parachutes, exploring cave systems. Anything for the adrenaline rush. I had friends who go free climbing. That's scaling cliffs with just your hands and feet. No safety equipment. No safety equipment. A Xynthian cadet's breathing apparatus wheezed, climbing vertical surfaces above fatal height drops for enjoyment. Yeah, it's a rush. Never did much of that myself. I was more into mechanics, but my friend Jen, she climbed mountains for fun every weekend. Nix's expression went nostalgic. She summited this peak that had claimed like 15 lives over the years, posted the most amazing pictures from the top. In the gallery, a senior officer slumped against the railing. Dulvix checked readings multiple times. Cadet Nix, you describe a childhood on a planet where weather kills rapidly, predators hunt humans regularly, flora contains deadly toxins, and terrain presents fatal hazards. This was your normal life? Yeah, Nix nodded. Normal Earth childhood. That's why I got bored and left. Once you master the basics, it all becomes pretty routine. Nothing really challenges you anymore. The xenobiologist's voice went quiet. What you describe as basic childhood survival training would eliminate 90% of our combined military forces within one planetary rotation. Nix considered this. Yeah, I guess visitors would need serious prep and protection. Earth's definitely not beginner-friendly. Dulvix activated full recording protocols. Detailed analysis required. You stated humans are not apex predators. Explain Earth's actual food chain hierarchy. Oh right, so humans are technically omnivores. We eat plants and animals both, but we're not at the top. Nix pulled up her own data tablet, showing images. These are apex predators. In various regions, grizzly bears can weigh 360 kg, bite force around 1-200 lb per square in. Saltwater crocodiles bite force over 3,700 lb. Great white sharks, multiple rows of serrated teeth, hunt in oceans. Polar bears, tigers, jaguars, lions, all of them can kill humans easily. The auditorium had gone beyond silent into something resembling mass shock. Then how? Crixel's voice failed, started again. How do humans survive? We're smart. We use tools, build shelters, travel in groups, avoid dangerous areas when possible. Envik said. It's simply, we're not the strongest or fastest. We just adapt really well and outlast everything else. Outlast. Dulvix's scanner went into overdrive. Define this term in context. Oh, like with extinction events, Earth's had a bunch. Nix scrolled through her tablet. Ice ages where the planet froze over. Humans migrated and adapted. Super volcano eruptions that blocked out sunlight for cycles. Humans survived in small populations and rebuilt. Asteroid impacts, massive plague cycles that killed huge percentages of our population. We just kept going, adapted. Survived, built back up, a senior. Officer in the gallery dropped there. Data pad, it shattered on the floor. Below, ice ages, Dulvix repeated. Planetary scale freezing events, super. Volcanoes, asteroid impacts, these are. Extinction level catastrophes. Species ending events, yeah, they ended. A lot of species, humans just weren't. One of them, Nick shrugged, we're really stubborn about surviving, Christ no. Pulled up calculation displays. Probability analysis. Species survive. Single extinction event 3%. Multiple events statistical. Impossibility, yet humans persist through. Repeated planetary catastrophes. Plus all the regular stuff Nick's added. Helpfully, like Earth's atmosphere is 21%. Oxygen, which apparently is super high. Compared to most planets, and we get way more radiation exposure than most. Species tolerate our background. Radiation levels would require shielding. Protocol calls for like half the species. In this room, Dulvix went completely. Still, repeat, your planet's standard. Atmospheric composition and radiation. Levels, yeah, 21% oxygen, nitrogen makes up most of the rest, and our sun puts out a lot of UV radiation. Humans get skin damage from it regularly. We just adapted melanin production to handle it. Nix looked around. Why do you all look worse now? Level 5 biohazard, a voice from the gallery, senior medical officer. Kinix descended the stairs rapidly, 21%. Oxygen concentration requires level 5. Atmospheric protocols for 63% of known species. Oxygen toxicity would cause cellular degradation within hours, and the radiation, Davik asked quietly, fatal to 41 species within days, severe cellular damage to another 38 species. Within weeks, Kinix approached Nix like approaching an active explosive. Your planet's normal environmental conditions require maximum hazard protection for most galactic life. Oh, Nix processed this, so when those expeditions landed, they died from breathing your air. Dalvix's voice went hollow. From exposure to your sunlight, from contact with your planet's standard environmental conditions, we sent them with combat gear, weapons, defense systems. What they needed were environmental isolation suits that could sustain them in conditions lethal to their biology. But wait, there's more. Kinix pulled up medical data, voice rising to hysteria. Earth's bacterial ecosystem, your planet contains trillions of microorganism variants. Many are lethal to other species. Your expeditions mentioned atmospheric contamination. They died from breathing microbes that humans consider normal air quality. Our bacteria, Nix blinked, like the stuff that just exists everywhere. Yes, normal Earth bacteria would require quarantine protocols on any other world. Your common cold virus has 93% fatality rate among Kulnix populations. Your standard food preparation bacteria would be classified as biological weapons by 8 civilizations. Kinnick gestured wildly. You live on a planet that breathes poison, radiates death, freezes and burns in cycles, contains predators that hunt you, plants that kill you, and microorganisms that would be weaponized anywhere else in the galaxy. Nix thought about it. When you put it that way, Earth does sound kind of intense. In the gallery, a senior commander spoke into communication equipment. Reclassify Earth immediately. Update all records. Expeditions didn't fail due to hostiles. They failed because the environment itself is lethal. The planet is the weapon. Repeat, the planet is the weapon. Dulvik stared at Nix. And you left this place because it was too easy. Well, yeah, Nix smiled. Once you survive it, what else is there? Commander Zixel descended from the gallery, data tablet, glowing with expedition records. Detailed analysis, updated context. The commander's voice carried absolute authority. First expedition to Earth. Cycle 391. Species, Kulnix Diplomatic Envoy 12. Members, full research team. Death occurred within 18 hours, planet side. Recorded cause, respiratory system. Failure due to atmospheric contamination. Dulvix pulled up the data. Previous analysis suggested hostile biological attack. New interpretation. They caught a cold, Kinnick stated flatly. Human common cold virus. What humans classify as minor seasonal illness. Kulnix physiology has zero immune defense. 93% fatality rate. They died from what humans consider a workplace inconvenience. Nix's expression shifted to horror. Oh. No, that's awful. We didn't know. Second expedition, Zixel continued. Cycle 3903, Species Vexnal Scientific Research Group, Enhanced Environmental Suits, full bioentrainment, 26 personnel. Death within 36 hours, cause cellular oxidation leading to systemic organ failure. Oxygen toxicity, Kinex. Confirmed. Earth's atmospheric composition burned them from inside. Their suits filtered biological contaminants but not atmospheric gases. They suffocated on breathable air. Third expedition, Zixel's voice grew harder. Cycle 3915, Species Xinthian Military Reconnaissance, full combat protocols. Enhanced physical augmentation, 41. Soldiers, death within 9 hours. Cause, skeletal system catastrophic failure. Delvik checked calculations, Earth's Gravity 1 standard, Xinthian evolution. Occurred on 0.6 gravity world. Their skeletal structure couldn't support their own body mass, Earth's normal. Gravity crushed them. Fourth expedition. Cycle 3928. Species Cricknall Exploration Team. Zixel's skin flashed grief colors. My own species, 63 scientists, full isolation protocols, 0 physical contact with environment, death within 5 days. Cause radiation exposure exceeding lethal thresholds, background radiation. From your sun, Kinnick told Nivix. Quietly, what humans call nice weather. Delivered fatal doses to them through their shelter walls. They died sunbathing. Nix's hands covered her mouth. We had no idea. We thought if anyone ever visited, we assumed they'd know to bring protection. We figured you'd research first and come prepared. Protection. Zixel pulled up another display. Describe what humans would provide. Visiting species, what safety equipment would you consider necessary? Oh well. Obviously full atmospheric isolation. Suits with customized gas mixtures. Gravity compensation, exoskeletons for species from lighter worlds, radiation. Shielding rated for your species. Tolerance levels, filters for the bacterial exposure, probably level 6. Containment since Earth's microbiome is so diverse, temperature regulation. System since our weather varies so extremely, structural reinforcement for the seismic activity, Earth's crust moves a lot. Maybe cognitive buffers if your species isn't used to predator Awareness protocols, Nix listed items on her fingers, and probably armed escorts. In wilderness regions just to be safe. We'd want guests to feel secure, armed. Escorts, Crixel repeated faintly. In wilderness regions, well yeah, because of the predators, wouldn't want a visiting delegation getting eaten by a bear. That would be terrible. Hospitality, Nix looked genuinely concerned. Humans take guest safety seriously. We'd absolutely provide military-grade protection for visitors. Dulvix pulled up Nix's equipment list on the main display. Next to it placed comparative military data. This inventory matches Zenthian invasion. Assault gear, level designated. Extinction World Breach Protocol. Reserved for planetary assaults on hostile death worlds with active environmental hazards and entrenched defenders. You think that's appropriate? For tourists, Nick seemed surprised. You consider this politeness? Zixel's entire body had gone rigid. Well yeah, you don't let guests get hurt. That's just rude. Nick shrugged. Earth's dangerous if you're not adapted to it, we know that. So we'd compensate, make sure everyone survived the visit. Silence stretched through the auditorium. Kinix finally spoke. Cadet Nix. Question: if Earth is survivable with proper protection, if humans have adapted to conditions lethal to most species, if your planet provides everything necessary for human life, why did you leave? Oh, that's easy. Envik smiled. Literally every other planet is easier, like way easier. I wanted a challenge. The words landed like physical impacts. Challenge, Zixel repeated. Yeah, Earth's tough when you're a kid, but once you master it, everything else becomes kind of boring. So I thought, why not try something new? Join the military, see the galaxy, test myself against something different. Nix gestured around the auditorium. This academy has a reputation for being elite, really pushing cadets to their limits. Sounded perfect. Crignal's skin cycled through every color in the panic spectrum simultaneously. Let me verify understanding. Dulvix's voice barely functioned. You departed the most dangerous planet in recorded galactic history, where simply existing requires surviving multiple extinction level environmental factors, where standard conditions would kill most known species within days because you wanted something more difficult. Exactly, Nix beamed. You get it. Earth was getting too routine. I needed something that would actually challenge me. Commander Zixel looked at the galaxy's most elite military training facility, then at the human who considered it recreational difficulty. Our entire curriculum, the commander said slowly, is your idea of stress relief. Well, when you put it that way. Nivix laughed. Yeah, kind of, but that's good. Right means I picked the right place. In the gallery, every senior officer simultaneously realized the same terrifying truth. They had no idea what humans were actually capable of. Commander Zixel activated emergency command channels, immediate protocol revision, all senior staff to tactical briefing room, classification level existential. Nix remained seated, looking confused, while 200 cadets filed out in stunned silence. Should I go too or stay? Zixel commanded. This concerns you directly. Within minutes, the auditorium transformed into Crisis Command Center. Holographic displays materialized. Senior officers from 6 branches took positions. Nix sat in the center, surrounded by the galaxy's top military Mine still looking like she'd accidentally wandered into the wrong room. First order Earth. Reclassification. Zixel's voice carried absolute authority. Previous designation. Forbidden Zone Class Unknown. New. Designation Extinction Class Death World. Maximum Hazard Rating. All records updated immediately. Second order Dulvix added. Pulling up new documentation. Any sentient being confirmed as Earth origin receives automatic advanced combat survival qualification. Childhood survival on that planet exceeds our highest military training standards. Kenonix activated. Medical protocols. Third order human integration requires reverse environmental protection, not to protect humans. They clearly need nothing to protect other species from human normal conditions. Any human consuming Earth origin food requires hazmat observation protocols. Wait, what? Nix looked down at her lunch container. Is this about my sandwich? What's in the sandwich? Kenix asked carefully. Just normal stuff. Bread, some preserved meat, cheese, pickled vegetables, mustard, hot peppers. Stop. Kinnick pulled up. Chemical analysis. Hot peppers, capsaicin compound causes severe neural pain. Responses. Humans consume this willingly. Yeah, adds flavor. These aren't even that spicy. Only like 30,000. On the Scoville scale. Nix took a bite. Pretty mild, honestly. 3 officers in the front row backed away rapidly. Scoville scale. Dulvix typed frantically. Measurement system for pain inducing chemical compounds humans deliberately add to food. This sandwich contains the xenobiologist's appendages. Froze capsaicin levels that would qualify as chemical weapons to Kolnix, Vexel and Xinthian populations. She's eating weaponized food for lunch. It's just a sandwich. Nix protested through another bite. Kixel continued as if nothing had happened. Fourth order. Complete tactical doctrine revision. Human baseline capabilities now serve as upper limit threat assessment metrics. If humans consider an activity easy, it should be classified as beyond our current strategic response capacity. Commander Crixel spoke up hesitantly. Question for context. Cadet Nix, what motivated you to join military service? Specifically, Nix swallowed her bite. Honestly, the physical training looked relaxing compared to my morning jog back home. Dead silence. Your morning jog? Christ no. Repeated. Yeah, I used to run like 8 km before work each day up this mountain trail near my house. Good elevation. Gain nice views. Occasionally you'd see wildlife. Great way to wake up and get energized. Nix smiled at the memory. The academy's morning exercise routine is only 5 km on flat ground. Seemed like a nice break from my usual workout. A junior officer in the back began stress breathing into an oxygen supply. Elevation gain. Delvix pulled up topographical data. Mountain terrain. You're describing Category 9 endurance training. Our elite units complete this distance once per week as final qualification testing. You do that every morning. A Kolnix cadet who'd stayed behind asked weakly. Before work? Well, yeah, otherwise I'd feel sluggish all day. Humans need regular exercise or we get restless and unhealthy. Nix finished her sandwich completely, oblivious to the existential crisis happening around her. Then I'd shower, eat breakfast, head to the garage for my maintenance shift. Normal routine. Zixel added notes to the expanding protocol document. Human normal routine includes physical exertion exceeding our advanced. Military qualifications, human. Relaxation involves our most challenging. Training protocols, human easy morning. Would exhaust our best soldiers, is this. Meeting almost done, Nix checked her. Schedule tablet, I have engineering. Fundamentals in 20 minutes, don't want to miss it. We're covering basic propulsion systems and I love this stuff. Basic propulsion systems, Crixel. Noted, graduate level astrophysics. Course you find this enjoyable. Oh. Yeah, it's fascinating, way simpler than the combustion engines I worked on back home. Those had like 1,000 moving parts. Fusion drives are elegant by comparison. Envik stood gathering her things. So am I good to go or do you need anything else? Zixel gestured. Dismissal, too overwhelmed for words. Nix headed toward the exit, pausing at the door. Oh, did I miss anything important in the lecture before all this started? No, Cricknell managed. Nothing important. Cool, see you next class. Nix left humming cheerfully. The auditorium remained silent except for the sound of officers breathing in. Nivix's footsteps fading down the corridor. 200 m away, she settled into her next class, pulled out homework, and began solving basic mathematics while eating an apple, which medical scans would later reveal contained trace compounds toxic to 4 species present in adjacent classrooms. In the command center, Zyle entered a final note into official records. Observation for high command. Human cadet considers our galaxy's most elite military academy relaxing. She departed the most lethal planet in known space-seeking challenge. Classification question requires immediate attention. If humans consider our reality easy mode, what were they evolved to survive? What were they preparing for? And what does it mean that they're bored? The commander closed the file.